Okay, class, this will conclude this chapter. Uh, we've talked about quite a bit. We talked about how the United States has won its independence from England. We talked about the fact that we came in under the Articles of Confederation that were very weak, that we had to build a constitution. We talked about how we built that constitution. We've talked a lot about the founding fathers, guys like Washington, uh, Adams, Jefferson, Hamilton, how they built that Constitution, how how we formed a Congress. If you go through the PowerPoint, guys, one of the things I want to mention to you, we're going to talk a little bit about the French Revolution in that. I did not really have enough time at this lecture, but that will go on at the same time that we're building our nation. The French Revolution started. Uh, it's really interesting. Guys like Thomas Jefferson they were big fans of the French Revolution. Jefferson liked the fact that the French, when they overthrew their government, their kings and their queens, when they overthrew that, they did it by a violent revolt. You got to remember, Jefferson had lived in France for a while. Guys like Washington and Adams and Hamilton, the French Revolution scared them to death because they saw uh, Jay's rebellion as being possibly what had happened in France. So they were looking at those corollary, those events that were kind of parallel to one another. I want you to also go through the PowerPoint and really pay attention to the different treaties, Jay's treaties, all the different treaties that the United States will enter after we become a nation. Uh, the thing to remember about that, guys, is on the majority of those treaties, the United States comes on the bottom end. We're not really good at doing treaties yet. We're still very much a new nation. Um, I'm going to leave y'all with a quick story on somebody in history that I've told you guys that I always liked, which was Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton, guys, when we study different people in history, Hamilton is one of the more interesting ones. Hamilton very well could have been, he is considered a founding father, and I think Hamilton could have very well been a president. Uh, what happens? Alexander Hamilton, guys, first of all, he was not born in the United States. He came out of the Caribbean islands. He was born, now, he was always accused of not knowing who his father was. He knew who his father was. The mother and the father had two sons. The father had left. When the father had left, Alexander Hamilton, uh, born in the Caribbean, again, he comes up. He will serve under George Washington in the American Revolution. Washington really liked Hamilton. Hamilton's a very smart guy. A lot of people accused of Washington of being Hamilton's illegitimate father. They tried to say that when Washington had visited down in the Caribbean that he had had an affair with Hamilton's mother. Totally untrue, but that lets you know even back in this day, guys, they were coming up with stories and all this stuff about these different guys. Now, I want to leave you with a quick story on Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton will be killed in a duel. Aaron Burr will shoot and kill Alexander Hamilton. Uh, but Hamilton, like a lot of these guys, like Jefferson and these other guys, Hamilton will be involved in a lot of sex scandals. One particular scandal that he will be involved with is a young lady named Myra Reynolds. Now, Myra Reynolds will come to Hamilton's house one day. She'll knock on that door. Uh, Hamilton will, answer the door. Myra's a very young, pretty girl. She tells him she has fallen on financial times, and since he is a gentleman, could he help her? And make a long story short, they got to remember Hamilton's married. Hamilton has an affair with Myra, and this affair will carry on. And then one day Hamilton's at his house, knock on the door. A guy named James Reynolds comes to the door. Now James tells Hamilton, he says, "Look, Myra's my wife. She's this pretty sweet little charming innocent girl. She's came to you, and what did you do? You went in there and you had this affair. You took advantage of her when she was very vulnerable, and I just can't believe you did that. But I tell you what, Mr. Hamilton, if you give me X amount of money, me and Myra will just let this thing go. They've decided to blackmail Alexander Hamilton. Now, what Hamilton will do, and I always point out to my students, guys, is something we don't never see politicians doing today. If a politician is accused of something today, they normally automatically come in and deny that they had anything to do with it. Not Hamilton. Hamilton tells James Reynolds, look, you don't have to tell anybody because I will tell everybody. Hamilton will go in and write a series of articles to the local paper and admit that he has had an extramarital affair with this girl. Uh, Basically, Hamilton's deal is you're not going to blackmail me. And I've always thought that was really interesting. Uh, he puts it all out there. Guys like Thomas Jefferson, you got to remember, guys, Thomas Jefferson, Sally Hemings is Jefferson's girlfriend. Remember, she's the slave girl that Jefferson has fathered several children. Thomas Jefferson will be the first guy that comes up and says, I can't believe you, Alexander Hamilton. How could you do that? What kind of scoundrel are you that you could go out and have this extramarital affair? You have no morals whatsoever. Of course, Jefferson was doing all the same stuff Hamilton was doing. Uh, Now, that probably will cost Hamilton's. I don't know if he would have recovered from that later on, but Hamilton, guys, had a bad habit of whenever he got into an argument or a disagreement with someone and it got really heated, Hamilton would challenge them to a duel. He was having dinner with some people. He was talking about Aaron Burr, and he called Aaron Burr despicable. He said, Burr is despicable. Today, we would think that's kind of comical because we look at Despicable Me. We don't really think being called despicable would be, but Aaron Burr took that very serious. And him and Hamilton go back and forth. Hamilton will challenge Burr to a duel. Now, everybody that Hamilton had ever done this for before, everybody had backed away from Hamilton. Not Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr went out, he got him some dueling pistols every day. Aaron Burr practiced. Now, Hamilton was a guy that was very smart. And sometimes in life you can be too smart for your own good. In duels, there was a rule. And the rule said that when you went out there and met, that if, what they did, guys, they went out there, they took these pistols out of a box, they held them up, they walked 10 paces away, you turned around, then you shot at one another. A gentleman could discharge his round in the air. And if the other guy was a gentleman, he discharged his round in the air. The disagreement was forgot about, and they were both gentlemen, and they went about their way. Well, that's what Hamilton was going to do. He kind of challenged Burr to this thing. Hamilton, though, he wasn't going to, he never had intention of actually going out there and shooting Burr or getting shot. That's not what he was going to do. Like I said, he's thought this thing out. Well, they go out there that morning. They go out there and they do their 10 paces. And being the gentleman that Hamilton is, he takes his gun and he fires it in the air. Aaron Burr looks at him. He lowers his gun and he shoots and he kills Hamilton. And that will be the end of Hamilton. And that's also the end of this session. We'll see you for the next one.